Mark Zuckerberg gets a congressional letter from Jim Jordan, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, as the elections heat up, as the political battles take place on the ground and also in the digital space. We know that there is a battle for our minds. We've got Twitter being bought by Elon Musk and freeing up a lot of the battlefield for 2024. But Mark Zuckerberg also launched a new competitor called Threads, and it was supposed to be this much safer, less racist, less violent, bigoted platform that Twitter has become, allegedly, under Elon Musk's stewardship. And so we know that Jim Jordan is upset about some of the censorship that has hit the new platform. And if you've been following along on Twitter or elsewhere, yours truly did not create a Threads account because we're loyal here. But we have a history of seeing other conservatives who did appear on Threads just to poke around over there to see what happened. They got censored. They got thrown off of the platform immediately. They post something about Hunter and they're gone. And there were a bunch of conservatives who just tested the limits. They got on there, posted a Hunter pic, and boom, censored immediately. So we expected that. But what is also funny is they're censoring Taylor Lorenz too. In fact, she's a writer for the Washington Post, and she posted this. She said, second community guidelines violation in less than a week. How are we supposed to discuss or talk news stories and the media when Instagram censors it? Other people posted this exact screenshot, got no violation. This is so ridiculous. I'm now in danger of losing my Instagram account now. Oh, somebody cry her a song. Give me a break. Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it, being censored? It sucks getting hit with strike on YouTube or getting your accounts banned. Why don't we all just speak? Just allow everybody to just speak. And so she was one of these people who ran over to Threads and thought it was going to be the grass is greener over there. Now she's about to lose her whole Instagram account. So, oh, boo hoo hoo. Now, the Threads usage is actually plummeting, apparently. This came over from Complex. It says that Meta's Threads is already seeing a decline. The new platform has seen a decline among subscribers. Opened with a boom, got 100 million signups because they basically bootstrapped it to Instagram and to Facebook. But it's down. Number of active daily users down 20% from Saturday, and the time people spend on the app also went down 50%. Because when you can't talk about controversial things and can't speak freely, you have a boring, dull platform that is not useful. And so this is why I constantly will say these people's visions for their utopias are all going to collapse upon themselves because they are just not as interesting. It's just not as interesting as some of these other things. So their numbers are down. SimilarWeb also showed downward trends for Threads. It's all going downhill. Meanwhile, Twitter's looking pretty good because they're paying out big money. And what was so funny about this is Taylor Lorenz was complaining about Threads and Instagram censoring her, but then she writes this article about how Twitter is paying out a bunch of the right-wingers. Far-right Twitter influencers were the first on Elon Musk's monetization scheme. And if you were around over, I think, the weekend, a bunch of creators were getting big fat checks for posting all over Twitter. The platform is paying high-profile creators, including people like Andrew Tate, and Tucker Carlson is just signed a new deal on Twitter with an advertising platform on Twitter. Thousands of dollars went out. And so on Thursday, Twitter announced it would begin sharing ad revenue, but it's not going to apply to all creators. Some people dropping big donos or getting big checks from Twitter. $10,000 from End Wokeness. Woo, that's a nice one. Andrew Tate got 20 grand off of there. DC Drano apparently posted something. Libs of TikTok didn't share her post, but a bunch of people got paid on Twitter. And so poor Tay-Tay is very upset about this. She's not happy that she is not part of Elon's inner circle. Oh, she's so upset. But Jim Jordan is sending a letter over to Zuckerberg because this is actually serious business. We've got an election coming up. We know that Facebook was infiltrated by the FBI. He explained that on Joe Rogan's show, saying that they got censored more or less by the FBI. They came in and said, we're the FBI, Russian disinfo. I'm like, okay. And so they all did it. And now Jordan is concerned that they're going to do this again. And maybe this is just a giant honeypot. All of the big intelligence. One theory is they no longer have access to all of the data on Twitter. You can't scrape it anymore because of rate limiting, and you really have very limited reach or ability to interact unless you're paying the blue check for the blue check at the $8 a month. So, or bot it, in other words. You can't bot it to death like the federal agencies probably were doing. So now Zuck creates an alternative to capture that need, and Jordan is sending a letter demanding answers about their censorship. This one went over to Mark Zuckerberg, care of his lawyers, Kirkland and Ellis, over in Washington, D.C. Coming from Jim Jordan, chairman of the Committee on the Judiciary, he writes the following. Hey, Mark, the Committee on the Judiciary is conducting oversight on how and to what extent the executive branch Biden has coerced and colluded with companies and other intermediaries to censor speech. The committee on February 15th issued a subpoena to you compelling the production of documents related to the content moderation moderation and Meta's engagement with the executive branch. We wanted those docs. In light of Meta's introduction of a new platform, Threads, we write to inform you that that subpoena covers new material related to Threads. We're just going to expand that puppy. Since you're launching something new, we'll take a look at that too. They say, since the committee, Jim Jordan writing, since we sent a subpoena to Meta, we have obtained additional evidence that the federal government has coerced or colluded with technology, social media, and other companies to moderate content online. These examples reinforce our serious concerns about whether Biden is engaging in censorship by proxy, using surrogates to censor, suppress, discourage speech in a manner in which the government is unable. On July 4th, in an incredible ruling by Judge Terry Doherty, a federal court held that the government's collusion with social media violated the First Amendment rights, and they told the government to stop. The court recognized that Meta played a role in this censorship scheme, and they constantly acquiesced and catered to the government's censorship demands. Jordan says, hey, Mark, you know, Congress has an important interest in protecting free speech, and we need to develop legislation to continue to do that. And given the fact that Meta and your company has censored First Amendment protected speech as a result of the government agency's demands, we're concerned that you're going to do this again on the Threads platform. And Threads raises serious concerns because it has been marketed as a rival of Elon Musk's Twitter, which has faced political persecution from the Biden administration following Musk's commitment to free speech. In contrast, there are reports that Threads will enforce Instagram's community guidelines, which resulted in lawful speech being moderated following pressure by the government. Despite launching only 12 days ago, there are reports that Threads is already engaging in censorship, including censoring users but offering no grounds for appeal. Poor Taylor Lorenz. The committee's February 15th subpoena to Meta requires, among other things, conversations with the executive branch. The subpoena is continuing in nature, meaning you got to keep it updated. And thus, to aid our oversight, we ask you, please produce all of the other information we requested previously, but this time, just apply it to Threads. And don't forget, this letter is a preservation letter. You better not destroy anything. Construe this letter, meaning you do not intentionally or negligently destroy anything. We are the House of Representatives. We have the right to investigate you according to H.R. 12, and that's exactly what we're doing. If you have any questions about it, let us know. Sincerely, your friend, Jim Jordan, Chairman, House Judiciary Committee. So we'll see what Mark does. We know they are actively censoring people over there because that's just how they live and operate. They have also explained that they disfavor news silos in the first place. And so we'll see. We have the self-sorting well underway. People continue to move geographically to different locations. People are sorting themselves into new internet platforms. People are buying products now associated with their ideologies, their beliefs, their values, and we just continue to separate apart. We're going to see how this unfolds in the next election. Congress is going to continue to keep a watchful eye, so will we, as we carry on. Thank you, my friends, for subscribing wherever it is you're watching this. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.